Hey everybody, welcome to Round the Twist, episode 233. It is January 27th, 2016, and we're in a slightly different venue. Almost everyone in my house is taking a nap, obviously not me, but the twins are napping in their room. Hubby took over the downstairs to nap on the couch, so I can't record down there while he's doing that. So here you have me. This is how I look on a normal day. Typically that I'm at home, no makeup. Hair not really done. I think I ran a brush through it this morning. I did wash it, but ran a brush through it, and that's about all I've done today. Some of the no makeup thing, I had an eye doctor appointment this morning for the first time in, about 5 years. And I didn't want, just in case, well, I knew I had scheduled to be refitted for contacts since I haven't worn those in a couple of years. And also, sorry, I forgot chapstick and it's killing me. So being refitted for contact lenses, I didn't want to have any makeup on, and then I had a lot of errands to run, and then I got home and I was just honestly too lazy to put any on because I just figured, I don't want to. So you get me like this, different spot. I'm sorry if the lighting's a bit wonky. I do have some big windows to the backyard open to try to get as much natural light as I can while the afternoon sun is behind me. That's why the shade is pulled down in my dining room. You can kind of see my messy house, so here we go. First thing on the needles in my Girl Cave bag and this is from girlcavebags.etsy.com. And so yeah, if the framing's off, it's because rather than my usual setup for the camera, I just went downstairs and grabbed it really quick, tried to be quiet, and I've got it propped on a pillow on the arm of the couch, so if things are off, that's why. I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. I'm trying to sit the same distance away, but I think I'm a little close, but I don't want to scoot back too far. So first things first, the special snowflake socks. This is in Gail's Art, or from Gail's Art, her special secret sock blank, which is a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon sock blank. And you can find Gail's wonderful stuff at galesart.com. Information for you, there's the back. Also, if the sound's not quite as loud, I'm trying to keep my voice down so I don't wake the twins up. They haven't been napping that great lately. So this was one of her sock blanks. I believe this was the December sock blank from her sock blank club, which just closed the February, March, April rounds. I believe. Yeah, because I got a January one. Yes, I did not sign up for that one, which is fine. I don't need more. I want more, but I don't need more. I'm knitting up a 72 stitch vanilla sock on US 1s, a 2.25 millimeter needle, and this actually went with me to my appointment this morning, and I got to knit on it, got some questions from the girls at the eye doctor's office. So I had just started the heel flap last time, and sorry, my needles are kind of in a wonky spot to show you stuff, but I've obviously finished the heel flap, finished the turn, finished the gusset. I'm working my way out the foot, I'm like 2-ish rows. Actually, hang on, I've got four stitches on the foot, and then and I hear babies. I haven't heard them right until now. Shoot. Oh, happy baby noises, that's okay. There we go. Oh, better, so much better. Kind of. It doesn't want to cooperate. That's my life lately, nothing wants to cooperate, so there we go. But the gusset always seems to take me forever. I don't know why. Like the heel flap sometimes, the gusset definitely. Oh, I seem to be picking up there must be a bigger chunk of, there must have been a very pink section to all of a sudden get those pink splatters across the top of the foot. I love that. Loving how this is coming out. These are my special snowflake socks that will be worn with glee under my work uniform. So, I feel like I did quite a lot, but when I hold it up, I kind of go, eh. But you guys hear that from me every week. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be such a whiner. Really, really sorry. I haven't had enough coffee. Let me grab that. That's the other thing, my coffee's not in its usual spot. It's on the floor. I'm probably going to kick it over at some point, and at that point I'm just abandoning the show. And you'll never see this episode, so. caramel apple today. Dug that out of the back of the coffee cupboard. Hadn't had that for a while. The second thing that I have on my needles is in my large cupcake Jessalou bag from Stitched by Jessalou. This is my Yowza, what is it, my Way It number 4, which is the Yowza Way It Shawl 4 by Susan B. Anderson. Knit out of Miss Babs Yowza, What a Skein. And I'm caught on something, there we go. In the Zombie Honeymoon colorway. So there's the color. And here's all the pertinent information. So the Miss Babs Yowza. It's a lot of yardage. It's 560 yards. It's an 8-ounce skein. And I need to keep going for quite a long time. I can't remember. I don't have the pattern. Well, I could pull the pattern up, but I'm not going to. I know I need to get into, I believe it's the single digits in terms of grams of weighing this, and I'm nowhere near that, in order to get, to put the edging on. So this is as far as I am. This lovely little triangle. If I hold it by the needle, there we go. There's the edge I'm working on. There's my marker, marking where I was last week. I got about 3 inches done. Again, seems to be about my average right now. I know it's going to go down because the needles, the rows are getting longer. And even though this is knit in on an 8, a 5mm needle, longer rows are longer rows. They're just going to take longer to do. I'm going to get less done lengthwise every week as the rows get longer, because it's going to be the same number of stitches I'm putting in every week. It's just not going to show lengthwise. That's what happens. Happens when the rows get longer. I know that's depressing, but oh well. I did move my marker up, so I'll be ready for next week. So we'll see how much I'm able to get done. This next week I'm not thinking a whole lot because I do have my work weekend coming up, but you never know. You never know. So another 3 inches done on that. Now I do have something new, and this is going to be an ongoing project similar to similar to like a sock blanket. I realized when I talked about doing my sock scrap, sorry, I'm hearing baby talk, talked about doing the sock scrap blanket, and I was going to do a crocheted pattern, and my friend Carrie from back in Omaha PM'd me on Ravelry and was like, what's the name of that pattern? I want to start something. And it's actually, so everyone knows, it's a crochet pattern. It is called Juggling Hexes. It's on Ravelry. It's a free pattern if you want to try it. So coffee. So I realized I hadn't crocheted in a while. I needed to kind of hone up my crochet skills, plus one of my wonderful PCTs, aides at work, I had been showing her, or she had been talking about like crocheted headbands. She's a little bit of a hippie, so she wants the headbands that go like across her forehead. So I'd showed her some patterns on Rav, and I told her I'll make you one, because she was one of my mid-shift PCTs when I was working as a mid-shift admin nurse. She was with me most of the days that I worked, and she was awesome. She got things done. So I'm going to make her one of these little crocheted headband things, and she's got this wild, crazy, curly hair. It's going to look awesome on her. But looking at these patterns going, I don't remember how to do that. So what I did, I also had a long-term project in mind for me, not something that's kind of been percolating in my brain, and not the sock blanket, but something better. I know, what could be better than a sock memory blanket? This is the book 99 Snowflakes. It was released by Leisure Arts, I believe in, 1998. This really isn't that old. Why did I think this was from the 80s? Oh, okay, I think I remember what it was. The snowflakes that I crocheted for the snowflake swap that Beck from Gusler Designs, Laura from the Knit Girl's sister, had come out of a different book that was my mom gave me. So I liberated this book Liberated, there we go. This book from my mom's pattern library a couple of years ago. And the thing I love about the Leisure Arts book, before I explain the projects, this is the whole reasoning why I started doing this project. They have the very basic, this is how you chain, this is how you double crochet, this is how you double treble crochet, this is how you treble, this is how you triple treble. And they not only have the drawn pictures, but they also have, okay, you're going to yarn over this many times, then you're going to put your hook in the stitch or the space you're going into, yarn over, pull up a loop, and so it's like written instructions on how to do each thing, which is so much. I don't know why my brain can wrap itself around this, but watching someone do it on YouTube with crochet. With knitting, I can get the YouTube thing, but for some reason the crochet thing, this works better for my brain. But I love that it's always there for me to reference right in the book with the patterns. So, to kind of get my skills, my crochet skills back underneath me, what did I decide to do? This is something kind of falls under various and sundry too, but this stems back to I'm very glad I don't have siblings, because when I left home years ago now, there were certain Christmas ornaments that I wanted to take with me. And I'm glad I didn't have siblings either older than I that had already taken certain ornaments that had meaning to me, or siblings younger than I howling that Karen's taking all the ornaments that I want. So being an only child was a good thing in that sense. What I'm planning on doing, some of this came from Christmas too, when I put all of the crocheted ornaments, the crocheted snowflakes and knit snowflakes that I received in that snowflake swap a few years ago on the tree. I was like, wow, I really like the Christmas tree with just snowflakes on it, like snowflakes and a garland and the crocheted treetop angel that my mom made for me, and I actually kind of like that. It's kind of neat. So what I'm doing, I have two balls, which I hope is enough. If not, this stuff's available everywhere. I don't have the label with me. It's downstairs. I saved it, but I'm not recording downstairs. It is Knit Crocheting. It is a mercerized cotton. And it's got a little cardboard tube inside of it, so this is not, obviously you can see through. Hello! But this is kind of the ecru ivory color. And it's thread. It's thread. They call it bedspread thread, so you can kind of see how weensy that is. It's itty bitty. So I dug around, found my crochet hooks. That was an adventure into the mess that is the still as yet unorganized craft room. Found this old Susan Bates. It's so old it doesn't even have metric on it. That tells you something. It also has this little plastic end on it, so I'm led to believe this was one of my Grandma Sween's steel crochet hooks, and it is a 7. That's all I know. I'm kind of guessing. Now, the book says obviously gauge doesn't matter. However, it does call for, what does it call for? I don't even know. Oh, a 7. Oh, it says it right down there. Steel crochet hooks, a size 7 is a 1.65 millimeter needle. So there you go, 1.65 millimeter. Looks bigger than that, but okay. 1.65. That can't be right. Yeah, okay, whatever. It's a size 7. And that's all you're getting. So what I'm doing, long story short, too late, I'm working my way through this book. And my goal is 1 set of snowflakes, and I'm doing 3 of each snowflake. So 1 that will be our ornaments on the tree here at home, and then I'm going to go out and get a couple of boxes and have 1 for Tara and 1 for Gabe, kind of like as an ornament hope chest, and kind of sock them away so as they go through the years of putting our ornaments on the tree, they'll get favorites, I'm hoping, and obviously they'll have their school ornaments and whatever other ornaments they want to put on there, but I want them to always have these crocheted handmade snowflakes, and then when they're ready to fly the coop, go to college, go strike out on their own, leave the nest basically, they've got their own almost like starter set of ornaments. Here, Mom spent years making you all of these, and it's either going to be awesome and they'll cry and I'll cry, or it's going to be an absolutely flaming failure where they go, I don't want those, and it'll break my heart. So I'm hoping for the former and not the latter. So the other day I sat down and I did, now the thing with the crochet snowflakes, you need to starch them. These are not starched, so they are not fully finished, but I'm not listing them as a finished object, even though the first ones are done. So for January, I sat down and I did snowflake number 1, and these are all written or designed by Helen Milinkovich Milton. They're all on, the patterns are listed individually on Ravelry. So this is listed as, I'm just going to cover the pattern bit up. Snowflake number 1. This one over here. Finished size approximately 1 1/4 inches in diameter. Mine are about that. So they don't look a thing like the picture yet because obviously I have not starched and pinned them, but my first set, and you might go, well, Karen, how are you going to keep track of what snowflake is what so you know how to pin it out and get it to look like the picture? Haha, my OCD brain is ahead of you. Thank you, makers of the Ziploc snack bags. So there's my 3 for January. These took me, now granted these were only 1 round. The patterns do get more complex, even like the number 2 has 2 rounds and it has a treble crochet, which I know British and Canadian crochet terminology is different than American. I believe this is American crochet terminology. I hope. I don't know, it's whatever is in this book. So they do get more complicated. They'll have several rounds on them. This had 1 round. I was done once I figured out what I was doing and wasn't sitting there with my tongue poking out of the corner of my mouth as I'm slowly working on these. Then these actually zoomed along and I was able to get each one done in about 20 minutes. So I'm thinking I might work ahead. Each snowflake number will be listed will be listed individually on my, sorry, I just ate lunch too. Individually on my Ravelry page. So snowflake number 1 is already up there. As I work through them, you'll see them. But my goal is 1 set of 3 every month. And then I'll keep these, and once I get a good stockpile, enough to make it worthwhile to try to find my starch. Or make it to Joann's to get some more starch, because I'm not sure exactly where my starch is, and I might have gotten rid of it in the move. I didn't see it when I was digging for my crochet hook, so I'll have to look. So that's the snowflakes. Another snowflake project. I did look and see on Ravelry that this book, which is again 99 Snowflakes, it's put out by Leisure Arts, it is available on Amazon, I believe, for $9.95. $9.95. That's not bad. And then some of them, I believe, I mean, there's a whole host of snowflakes, and some of them, like this one on the back cover, or that one on, I guess, on the inside, this one right here, you actually make 3 of each shape and then like mold them. They have a way that you mold them somehow too, and you glue them together to make a 3-dimensional snowflake. So it's more almost like, how can I describe this? God, I'm doing a terrible job, you guys. It's almost, well, this one over here too. It's almost like a ball. So, from what I could understand from the finishing directions, and there are finishing directions in the back, 1 snowflake would be on this plane, and then you mold, like when you starch the next snowflake, you starch it on like a teepee or a little tent of cardboard, so it molds into a V, and then that, I can't make my hand do that, like this. So one's this way, and one's that way, or something like that. I don't, somehow 2 of the 3 form V's, and you glue it into this like 6-sided thing. we'll see. That's like the very end of the book. We won't see that part for a while. So there you have it. If you, who is texting me at this time of day? Okay. This time of day, it's like 3 in the afternoon. Oh, still have the brain of a night shift worker. Okay. So, moving on to pokey things. Wow, I went on forever with those snowflakes. The Very Merry Christmas Town. I didn't do a whole lot of stitching on this week once again. However, okay. So I was halfway up. This is the Very Merry Christmas Town by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I'm still working on Clue 3. I did finish that other top half of this window over here on the Christmas tree farm. Obviously did the center window and I did the window here. Basically I'm trying to finish all the blue before I move on. And then the blue, there's a little flag that hangs from this gold flagpole on this side. And blue goes around and then there's a Christmas tree image in the center. So I'm trying to get the blue all done before I put the Christmas tree in the middle. What's that touch? Did I do that? Yes. It has to. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Wow, sorry. Just had a brain fart on something. It's okay. So I didn't do a whole lot of that. Haven't been spending a whole lot of time down in the basement with hubby gaming because he finished Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Loved it. We also finished, I supported him, finished the Jack the Ripper DLC that came with it, which was actually really good. Kind of abrupt on the ending, and while it was a lot of fun gameplay and it was a good background, because I've actually done some research into the Jack the Ripper, like all the conspiracy theories, and they do bring some of those in to the DLC of the game. There was I don't know, it just, after you defeat the big boss, I don't want to spoil this game for anyone, the big boss in the main game, defeating Jack was almost kind of a letdown for me. Like I turned away from the game for 2 minutes. I think I was trying to clear the email off of my computer, and I looked back and the credits are rolling. I was like, wait, you're done? And Eric kind of looked at me and went, yeah. And I was like, that seemed a little anticlimactic, but it was still good gameplay just because it seemed fairly easy to defeat this extra bad guy. But oh well, that was just my view of it. But it was good extra game content to have. So I haven't done because of that, and he switched over to Mortal Kombat, playing Mortal Kombat again, which I don't particularly enjoy watching, just because there's not, like, he doesn't play a whole lot of the storyline of it. He plays more the towers, so it's just fight after fight after fight after fight after fight, and breaking someone's back and ripping their lungs out and stabbing them through the eye with a giant ice spear. It's not my favorite game that he's ever played. It's a little on the gory side for my taste, but I haven't done a whole lot of stitching downstairs because of that. We've only been down there like a couple hours this last week, so not a lot of stitching. Or I've pulled out, like, I didn't want to miss the Jack the Ripper bit, so I didn't want to be buried, like looking down buried in my cross stitch. So instead I took my knitting down so that I could knit and be glued to the screen and watching what was going on. But I did, however, do more on my Once Upon a Time sampler. So let me tighten this up a little. Still working on the May block. This is again from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This was their mystery stitch along thing from a couple of years ago. So still using the hashtag naptime needleworker if you want to join me on Instagram. And this has been my naptime work lately, which if you follow me on Instagram you would know. So I finished this week, I managed to finish the body, horns and hooves of the cow, Jack's pants, the walls of the house and the chimney, and Jack's hair, and started the magic bean. So I kind of felt like I skipped all over, and like there shouldn't be a whole lot I have left to do, but it's a lot of little piddly things that I have left, so I'm working on it slowly. I'm getting there. I haven't had a whole lot of time because there have been a couple days where instead of working on this, I have pulled out my knitting. That's how I managed to get the gusset done on my socks, and yeah. Sorry, we just had a dove, like a turtle dove, land in our tree in our backyard, and I've never seen one out there before, so this thing came flying down. So, last thing, under various and sundry, from the any questions thread, I'm going to skip one person's post, ACP. I will come back to you just because of where I am recording. I can't get to the craft room, otherwise we were going to go on a little walkabout down there again, so I could answer some of your questions, but I'm going to skip. I will come back to you, I promise. So next person on the list, Meliabella, Melissa, has one question for me. What's in my notions bag? And I kind of have to laugh because I don't really have a notions bag. I'll show you what I have. I have two of the knit kits. Do they even make knit kits anymore? I have the original one, the white with the pink accents, and then I have the teal one with the white accents. So this is my notions bag. I have zooped it up a little bit, so this one did not have the little locking thing, but it does have a counter. In the top, it's got a double-ended crochet hook in the side, just in case there are any boo-boos that need to be laddered down and fixed. It does have a tape measure that is both, this is like the Swiss Army knife for knitters. I love this thing. Tape measure, there's both inches and centimeters on it. And then in the back is this little compartment. And I love this thing. This is where I have added and subtracted things. It's got, oh, that's the other thing this has that I never use. There's a little fold down thing over on this side that has a little blade in it. I don't find it sharp enough. In fact, mine has rusted. I don't find it sharp enough to cut yarn. So I always use the little folding scissors in the back. They're just little embroidery folding scissors. Before anyone asks, yes, I have traveled on planes with this. No, I have never been stopped about it. Now, in the little compartment next to the scissors, I keep three darning needles, different sizes. The chibi bent tip one, this is one I have added in. The one that came with the kit, which I find to have a very blunt point and I don't use very often because I either need the slightly pointier bent end of the chibi or and those come from, that's from the Clover chibi little kits, or I need something finer, and I added this darning needle in as well. This is again from one of the Clover chibis. It had multiple sizes in it, and this was the small one. This is the one that I use to weave in all my ends-on socks. It does have a smaller eye, but I have found that is not a problem to get fingering weight yarn through, but everything else I tend to use the larger gold darning needle. And then I have a whole host of different stitch markers in there. I have some teeny weeny little ones, and then a couple different sizes of these chain ball link ones that I got from Rycrafty. She's Heather Rycrafty. She's another podcaster. I'm drawing a blank. Over on Ravelry, and I've got I believe this is one from Rosemary from Begin stitch markers, which I haven't heard about anything from her in quite a while. I don't know if she's even still making these anymore. So that's my entire notions bag. That's it. That's all I have. I used to have a more extensive one, which again is down in the craft room, and I would show you if I could get to it. So that's my notions bag. I think we'll do one more, because there's another person that just has a single, Pandarin over on Ravelry said, I started knitting socks a few years ago and have yet to knit one from a solid color with a pattern of any variety. I have a goal to knit at least one pattern sock in 2016. Any good recommendations? It depends on how deep you want to get into stuff. I enjoy the monkey pattern by Cookie A, the free one that's available from Knitty. It's also available in her, I think it's Knit Sock Love book, in various sizes, but there's different variations of it. People have done the no purl monkeys. I found it works well for both solid and variegated yarns. I've seen people do it in self-striping. You can use it for anything. Another one that I like is zigzagular. Another one that looks good in variegated yarns if you happen to have a whole stash of that to look at. Solid-wise, I'd pick something that gives you some kind of interest, something that will pique your interest. I really liked Devon, also by Cookie A, when I was knitting through her Sock Innovations book. That one just flew off the needles for me. Something that will keep you interested, since obviously you're going to be staring at one color. That would be my big recommendation. Trying to think what other ones. If anyone has anything else, please chime in. I'm going to go with those two. I'm going to say the monkey and zigzagular for right now, if you want to do a solid. But there's so many free patterns that are available on Rav that you can do cables, you can do lace. I don't know what you enjoy doing. Do what you enjoy. So that's going to be my second answer, and I'm going to leave it at that for this week, since I rambled on quite a bit about the crocheted snowflakes. And hopefully next week we will be back down in the usual spot downstairs. So until then, happy knitting.